Okay, 49ers defense time. And as you're watching this, I'm not intentionally poo-pooing on what Nick Sorensen did. He was in a tough situation, personnel-wise, probably handcuffed on really what he could do. Obviously, the injuries took a toll. But the difference just in one game is astronomical. There was a stark difference in how the 49ers looked, played, the coverages they ran, the blitzes they ran, compared to a season-long worth of data last year. So we're going to talk about everything. Obviously, this play, Seattle, for whatever reason, thought they would get away with running a rookie quarterback against 49ers. Did not work. So Robert Saleh in this game, and you're going to see on the very next play. So one of my biggest gripes last year with Sorensen was he lined up Nick Bosa over 70% of the time over the right tackle. On this 3rd and 5, the very first third down the 49ers see of the season or have of the season, look where Nick Bosa is. Not over the right tackle. Another reason that the 49ers really struggled on third downs last season was just because it would be Bosa, D-tackle, edge rusher, and they rarely blitz. They had one of the lowest blitz rates in the NFL. They had one of the lowest pressure rates in the NFL because they were static. They never really moved. On this play, this is a boss front, which just means 3 players on one side, isolated player on the other. You are guaranteeing that he gets basically a one-on-one. So Salah blitzed Sam Darnold over 27% of the time in this game. Technically, from the data that I pulled, it was 29.2, which is insane. And that would be the second highest of any game last year for the 49ers. So, I mean, that just gives you a taste of how different, how more complex the 49ers will be, I assume, moving forward. So let's look at this play. Okay, so I said boss front. 49ers started out with Nick Bosa, Jordan Elliott, Kalia Davis, and Michael Williams. So on this play, this is their nickel package. We have Bryce Huff. We have Michael Williams. We have Yetur Gross-Matos, who, honestly, he played pretty well. He was predominantly just an inside rusher. And then you have Nick Bosa. But you also have D. Winters, Fred Warner. So as you can see, as Seattle goes through their motion, you have 11 players within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. Good luck trying to figure out who's coming, who's falling off. I mean, it looks like it's man-to-man coverage, and that's what the 49ers did a really good job of on these obvious passing downs. So you have Deommodore Lenoir against their best receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba. You have Upton Stout, the rookie, Cooper Kupp. And then you have Renardo Green. I don't even know who this is. I think it's Torrey Horton. And then Jason Pinnock and Marcus Siegel is somewhere in here. There he is. Head up on the tight end. So that just tells you it's man-to-man coverage. Okay, let's walk through what happens here. Let's just watch the play first. Man, yeah, we just did not see anything like this. Okay, man-to-man coverage, as I said, as far as the pressure goes. So linebackers coming. So 6-man pressure off the rip, which just did not exist last year. And you have man coverage across the board. The receivers don't really have, the DBs, they don't really have to respect the deep routes, and that's what you see Siegel doing here. Like, he doesn't have to. It's a 6-man pressure. The ball is going to get out hot. It better get out hot. And then we're going to watch it from the end zone angle. Again, one of the issues last year is everybody just rushed straight, right? Rush, win one-on-one, and just cross your fingers that you win. How about instead you create a runway for your best freaking player? And that's exactly what happens on this play right here. So there's Nick Bosa coming off to the from our left. So it's Warner's job to hold up one of the linemen. That way, Bosa has that runway that we talked about. So, let's rewind it here. Cross his face. Yetur Gross-Matos, if he crosses the center's face, he's going to be tied up. He does that. So, that is a great job right here. Look, they're intentionally trying to cross their faces. Same with Michael. They're intentionally trying to cross their faces. And now, look, pinned. He's basically an offensive lineman right here. I want to make sure that I contain you. And same with Yetur. I want to make sure that I get this hung up. That way he comes free. One play, quarterback hit. The ball is thrown basically behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage. And that's how the 49ers defense started out. From 2020, since Salah left, until pretty much last year, Robert Saleh has led the NFL in quarters usage. So that's cover 4. So as we can see, as the play rolls on here, just the 4 secondary players have the deep fourth of the field. He has the deep fourth, he has the deep fourth, he has this deep fourth, and he has this deep fourth. It's just split into quarters coverage, cover four, whatever you want to call it. So this game showed why Saleh is a good defensive coordinator, because he's not going to be hard-headed. He's not going to be stubborn and try to continue to run it. Seattle ran a couple of quarters beaters early, and he was like, nope, ripped that up and got out of it. So this game, the 49ers only ran cover four on 12.5% of the plays. So basically 1 out of every 8 plays, which is usually they would run it closer to like 22-25%. So that it's a pretty steep decline, but also a sign that he's not going to be stubborn, as I said. So what happens here? Rookie Upton Stout, he's got to carry number 2. So in quarters, the way that this works out, especially if they're matching, which I believe they are, you have to carry number 2, who's number 2 wide receiver, up and out is his responsibility. So he is going to lock on because he's vertical. He's out of the picture. So as soon as he goes out, Stout has to get his eyes to the receiver. He's still looking at the quarterback, right? And think about it. This is a rookie, second series. He was always going to get picked on. He was always going to have growing pains. He was always going to make those rookie mistakes. And here's one where like he has no idea where the receiver is. If he has his receiver, if he gets his eyes to the receiver, he probably has just a better chance to run with him. Maybe he breaks up the play, maybe not. But I think it was wise of Saleh to just kind of scrap this. And we saw a lot of single high stuff from the 49ers, where there's cover 1, cover 3. Pretty much after this play, he was like, no, I'm not going to let them get over on my rookie just because I'm going to be stubborn because I like to run quarters. So I thought that was pretty wise for Saleh. And just being attentive to what's going on, what's happening on the field. We didn't see much of the second string defensive line. They started, so after I mentioned the first series was Nick Bosa, Jordan Elliott, Kalia Davis, Michael Williams. The second series, Bosa stayed on the field, and then it was Alfred Collins, Jordan Elliott, and Sam O. So Bosa, Elliott, Alfred Collins, and Sam O. Seattle runs a trap here, and we're going to see a better angle from the end zone view, but they're not trying to block Alfred Collins, who's a DT right there, and he basically gets Goldberg, he gets speared. And after this play, the starters came in. As I said, I don't want to say they got their butts whipped, but it wasn't the greatest series. And as you can see, they marched down the field, not just with that play that Stout gave up, but they had a couple successful runs early in the drive as well. So here's Collins. He's going to fire off the ball and try to make contact with this player. I assume that's what his job was initially. But, you just have to have a feel for the game. And again, we're talking about a rookie, right? This is the very first time he's stepping onto the field. He doesn't know what a trap is. So they're going to intentionally not block him. He does not recognize that. He doesn't feel that. So watch how he just gets out of his way. Okay, so Collins is athletic enough, so he turns around, but unfortunately got a first-rounder coming here to take your head off, and boom! I think it was a good job by Siegel to come down out of the roof, make a play, eliminate, I wouldn't say eliminate, but just make a nice open field tackle, and this doesn't have to be a larger gain than it is, but I think that was a big-time welcome to the NFL moment there for Collins. So I know that Nick Bosa had the game-winning sack. He had a tackle for loss. He had 3 tackles for loss, actually, but to me, the linebackers were the best players on the field for the 49ers. Fred Warner and D. Winters, they were all over the place. They were flying around. Here's a tackle for loss from D. Winters. People were a little surprised at this performance. I wasn't. He was this good last year. He just didn't play. He was hurt all the time. But in training camp, he was far and away better than Devondre Campbell. I still have no idea to this day why they didn't just roll with him. But his athleticism, like his speed, his recklessness, his aggression, like that is what you need at linebacker. Here is Winters right here. So I've talked about this before. Clear and cloudy. Like that's going to let you know what you need to do as a linebacker. Let's watch him and see when he triggers. So right now, he works over top of the block of the guard, I believe. So he doesn't get blocked, keeps himself clean, beats him to the spot, and he just goes. So clear, he sees the hole, and he beats the running back to the hole. He knows where it's going. So he sees this down block and then just fires. You cannot make a better play than that. And if you want to see how the other safeties are playing, where is he at? Okay, Jason Pinnock. So Pinnock, like their aggression from the DBs, I guess just the second level players and third level players in general, they were just they came downhill. It was really exciting to watch because if they're doing this in game one, you have to feel like Salah's message is getting through to them. So really good play by Winters, obviously, but I think the aggression overall. Okay, next play, 4th and 2. You have to the bottom of the screen. Kupp is basically like in a McCaffrey alignment, and he's going against Upton Stout. Stout does not have to grab him here. And this is good. He's a rookie, right? He was always going to be the quote-unquote mark for Seattle. Like, they were going to pick on him. So right here, he can run, and he needs to understand that. What can Kupp do, like, from this alignment right here? He's either going to break out sharp or run the little, like, out and up. So even if he does break out, like, by now, you know where he's going, right? He hasn't completely turned around, so it's going to be this. Really, he just needs to run with him, turn and run with him. But that little grab right there, he kind of panicked when he didn't have to. And that's the difference between a turnover on downs and Seattle, getting points, which they ended up getting, I believe it was a touchdown. So, again, Stout is going to be a good player. And I actually don't think he played as bad as it might seem. I know he gave up a couple plays that we've already shown, but you can tell, like, once he just understands what he can and can't get away with, once he realizes, hey, I'm fast, like, I don't have to do those things, he'll be fine. Like, there's a reason he's starting, and I think we kind of saw that on some other reps. Okay, so on the third series, it was back to Michael, Kalia Davis, and this time CJ West gets a turn, and Bosa gets a rest, and they go to Bryce Huff. So first time we're seeing Bryce Huff on early downs, first time we see CJ West, and then, as I mentioned, the starters. But as long as he's on the field, I think they're going to be good regardless. So Seattle, they just ran the ball basically exclusively in the preseason. Watch Fred Warner here in the middle. Like, he's sensing it. As soon as that fullback goes out here, you know it's a sweep. And then now it's just about coming downhill. First of all, let's talk about Siegel. Again, being aggressive. Meet him at the point of attack. Now that blocker's out of the picture. Next person. Fullback doesn't go anywhere. And there's just Warner just timing it up perfectly, getting downhill. He looks like a madman right now. Amazing, man. You really cannot play that any better. And that's where I think he got hurt, spit up blood. But tackle for loss, and that's how you win, right? Pretty much one tackle for loss should do it, especially with this defense. Okay, 2nd and long, 2nd and 11. Salah blitzed on 2nd and long 33% of the time. So, again, another one of the just differences from Sorensen to Salah is Salah's not waiting for 3rd down to blitz. Like, he's coming after you on early downs. Here, another change, another sign that he is being attentive. He's not going to hang his players out to dry. So Seattle has 3 wide receivers on the field. He's up top here. This should be Stout, but he's going to base this time. So here it is. You have your Sam linebacker instead of your nickel, and now we're going to see a simulated pressure. So Michael Williams is the edge rusher right here. He's going to drop into coverage. He has a strong hook. Winters is going to blitz, so sim pressure just means a first-level defender is going to drop off into coverage, and one of the second-level defenders is going to blitz. Veteran quarterback should be able to see this. I wonder who's blitzing. He's capped over the tight end. He's acting like he's in man coverage. It's honestly a pretty obvious blitz. So Darnold recognizes it, but watch Winters. He gets his hand in the throwing lane. Siegel's in position. I believe Huff gets a hand on it. Yeah, Huff comes free. So, I mean, there's so many moving parts here. Let's watch to the bottom how it goes. Yeah, so he has a flat. They let him go because he's going to nail down on this crosser. And essentially works out to be like a double on Kupp. And you have the luxury of leaving Lenore one-on-one with a non-JSN wide receiver. Yeah, that's the fullback, so who cares? Throw it to him. I dare you. And Siegel is one-on-one with the tight end. He's going to make that tackle even if he catches it, but it's an errant pass. So 2nd and 11, you see a blitz. You see a D lineman drop into coverage. Whew. And tipped pass. So we'll watch it from the end zone angle here. You have West still, Huff, Kalia Davis, but got a little blitz here. So, okay, 3rd down, 3rd and 11. Again, like, they were going to blitz. On 3rd and long, Salah blitzed 66% of the time. And I'm laughing because, again, this did not exist. This was not a thing last year. So blitzing pretty much every down, 2/3 of the time. is pretty insane. So another boss front here. You have Michael. This is their nickel package. Michael, Eater, Huff, Bosa as the isolated rusher. You have Fred mugged up. This is back to the nickel. So Renato Green, Lenore, Siegel. Where is Stout? Oh, Stout. And then Pinnock. So it looks like man coverage just because he's head up, but can't because there's no receiver right here for Renato Green to cover. So let's watch how this plays out, and we'll talk about the coverages and if the 49ers were able to get off the field. Yes, they were. Okay, so as it plays out from the back end, it looks like they're just dropping into a 3-deep zone. So deep, deep, deep. He's probably going to be the strong hook player. And who is that? Oh, so cool. Gross Matos. He's going to drop. So another sim pressure with one of the second-level guys blitzing, one of the first-level guys dropping off into coverage. So nice little zone blitz here. Man, oh, everybody's coming. I didn't see that. Look at this. We have Stout. And Warner's not rushing, I believe. Yep, nope, he's rushing. This is insane just because it's not like your typical zone blitz, but they're bringing people. And I actually really appreciated that now that I think about it. They actually had 7-man rushes on 8.3% of the time, which is nuts. Pretty much doubled everybody else in the NFL. So let's see how many people are rushing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6-man pressure. They had plenty of those as well. I think they had a 6-man pressure. I don't want to lie to you and give you the wrong name. I think it was only like 5% of the times, but still, you can blitz 6 and have a deep safety blanket, so you don't have to worry about getting beat over the top. It's gonna bode well. And again, errant throw, but I think Lenore has a nice little press. Yeah, Lenore to the top of the screen, presses JSN, gets hands on. You are not going to win very many of these. But again, we're watching the winners right here. Watch him blow up the running back. Like when I talk about like the aggression and the physicality that this team played with. And when it is 3rd and long, like people are going to see Yeater in coverage. And there was a tight end in the flat there, but he's not thinking about throwing it underneath on 3rd and long, which is why you can get away with dropping defensive linemen into coverage. So this is going to be a tough throw regardless, especially against a player like Lenore, and nothing doing the 49ers force a punt. Okay, so on the 4 series, it was Michael, West, Davis, and Bryce Huff. So Michael, big end, West, Davis, West, Davis, Huff. And this is where eventually, like, one of these guys just need to win one-on-one, and you are going to get those, but it's not reliable, right? You shouldn't be relying on your players. You should put them in a position to win, but I think that's another difference. And here, Clea Davis just wins one-on-one, tackle for loss. Another thing, as you see it right here, it's been a thing in the NFL. I think Fangio was the first one to do this a few years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but this last-minute shift before the ball snap right there, it just messes with the O-line's blocking techniques, like who they need to defend or who they need to block. So it looks like they're running a counter here. That's just 2 linemen from the backside of the formation pulling. So they're blocking down, and he just wins. And maybe that last-minute shift was enough where the lineman couldn't, seal him off, but 3rd and 8, and that's when they win, which is what they did. So they're able to get off the field again, and essentially just because Davis made that play. Okay, 3rd down here. I didn't show it on that, what was it, illegal use of hands, defense holding, whatever Stout was called for in the end zone, but Bosa's bull rush, he had a pretty strong bull rush in that play. He's going to have the same thing here, and it really kind of saves the defense. So Salah elects not to blitz on 3rd and 4 here, and it almost comes back to bite them because Seattle runs a nice concept where he's wide open right now. Fred's kind of caught in no man's land. Stout is carrying. Lenore is biting or nailing down on the in-breaking route. But, he's open right here. This should be a 1st down. But because there's no throwing lane, Darnold has to run. Darnold has to throw across his body. He does end up getting it. All right, so after a special teams blunder, blocked field goal, the Seattle Seahawks are taking the lead, or they have the lead, with the ball in the fourth quarter, and they're in plus territory. So it seems like they have a chance to make this a 2-possession game. And on second down, they're going to throw a screen to their best receiver. As you can see, first of all, the D-line does a good job of reacting to it well, right? Sam-O could easily, Sam-O's to the bottom of the screen here, easily rush up the field, but he senses that. And like this, he should be, most defensive linemen would still either try to bat this pass down or still rush up the field, but he does not sense that. And I think that two steps that he doesn't take up the field and is able to, run toward JSN is the difference of him having a chance to force the fumble. I'm not saying like none of that wouldn't have happened, but I think the awareness like that is just good coaching, right, from Chris Kosaric. So he feels that he's not being blocked, doesn't rush. He senses that it's a screen, and then that famous peanut punch that all these players are doing now, that was a game saver right there. Siegel pops on the ball, Sam-O's hyped, and the 49ers defense bails out the special teams right there. So just a huge play for Sam-O. And on the topic of Sam-O here, so after that forced fumble, even before that forced fumble, he didn't come off the field. So he earned his way onto the field. He hits Darnold there. Obviously, Bosa's there for the screen on the other side of the ball, or on the other side of the field. But if I told you Sam-O played 15 snaps in this game, Seattle averaged, and it helps, there was a couple tackles for loss like this way behind the line of scrimmage, but Seattle only averaged 2.7 yards per play when he was on the field. Like, they did next to nothing, and I think he deserves a ton of credit. Just, hustling, bringing energy. It's really tough to do. So now Seattle is in second and long, and they are going to give an opportunity for their best receiver against, my opinion, the 49ers' best cornerback. So here we go. Let's watch it. Got Renato Green, JSN one-on-one. No panic, right? He's in position, and like they're going to make plays. It drives me nuts when a cornerback will give up one play, and some fans will be like, oh, he got burned all game. No, that's not true. So here's Renato. You just have to fight to the finish. That late rake right there is everything. To me, that's a game saver. There are so many game-saving plays that the defense made in this game. That was huge. Obviously, the forced fumble from Sam-O was huge, but being able to finish here, right? Oh, man, that is about as good as you're going to see. Just jarring the ball loose. Because this is a catch, and he could easily just call it right here, but I think his left hand's in there. You have to finish through the ground, rake it out. Man, game saver. So now it's 3rd and 18, and the defense was able to get off the field. Okay, some more Salah madness. Game's on the line. This is 3rd down toward the end of the game. And Salah is going to bring a 6-man pressure. So here's what he does. Mykel Williams, he is your middle hook defender. This is so wild to me to call this with a game on the line. Mykel Williams drops to the middle in a zone. Okay. Again, you're not expecting them to throw it over the middle just because that's where the pressure is coming from. If you look at who's blitzing, you got a corner blitz, you have a linebacker blitz. Okay. And then we have, let's look to the bottom here. So Stout is responsible for the flat. He has this deep third. And the way that this concept works, Cup out, he should be relating to him or at least pushing to this route. He doesn't have to come downhill, but push horizontally to this route. That way, if he's coming across, he eventually nails down on this, but he has to get his eyes out of the backfield, right? This is not college anymore. Relate to a receiver. And again, this is where coaching will make a difference over the course of the year, and Stout will not make these quote-unquote rookie mistakes. So this is just him playing old school zone coverage, and that's not what they do in the NFL. Thankfully, he is no longer a rookie, and he bails him out, and he understands that this is a 6-man pressure, so the ball is going to come out quick. The odds of Sam Darnold throwing this deep route to him, just so slim. So, to me, this play was even bigger than the pass breakup that we just talked about. So Green recognizes that the ball is going to come out hot. He knows that, oh, shit, Stout's not where he's supposed to. Ball comes out hot. He's breaking on the throw right now. And that tackle is the difference of Seattle maybe going for it if it's 4th and inches. Seattle picking up the first down. Seattle picking up the first down and adding on points. It made the 49ers don't get the ball back. Here's a look at the pressure from the other side. Siegel blitzes, comes free. Winters blitzes, but Green saves the day. So, I mean, a madman of a blitz on third down, but you get the ball back. Or, sorry, you force a stop. I would have gone for it if I was Seattle. Not sure why they didn't, but the 49ers were able to make them pay, and that was essentially the difference in the ball game, because now Seattle had to score a touchdown to win it. And even though they did drive the field, just very difficult to do that. So they start out with their nickel pass rush here. As you can see, Huff, Gross Matos, Michael, and Bosa from right to left. And Seattle's able to march. I think we're going to get to the double move on Green here. It's almost identical to the Pearsall one. Like, this really, like, I don't know what people were expecting. That was a good job, actually, by Stout to fall back in the zone. Let's watch from this angle. I think he got a fingertip on it. I feel like he did. Oh yeah, he deflects that. And this is a good job again. We're just relating to receiver, right? He has no threat underneath. Let's go back to the other angle, where I say like push to certain routes. So he's pushing. He doesn't have to come downhill. Throw that. Make him throw that, and you can always come up and make the tackle. Instead, he realizes Sam Darnold is not anywhere close to throwing underneath. He's looking at this deep route, and he's able to tip it. You can see from the end zone angle that the ball kind of changes. It goes from a spiral to like a knuckleball, or not a knuckleball, just a duck. So in my mind, yeah, he definitely deflects that. So a nice PBU there for the Rook. One of these plays is the double or the out and up. I think, yeah, this is it. Okay. So bottom of the screen, got Renardo Green isolated against JSN. And it's almost identical to what Pearsall did, where he gives him a little jab like he's running the out route. You have to respect that. And this is why I think, I mean, Salah has the utmost confidence in all of his corners. There's no safety help. To me, like, I would want Pinnock. Okay, who would you be more worried about? The JSN, or on the other side, Lenore and a fifth-round rookie? To me, like, this is a no-brainer. I know he has to protect the middle field. I do understand that. But look where he's looking right now. Like, his shoulders are here. There's no reason for you to be stuck right here. I don't know why he's not getting any blame. What corner isn't going to lose on a double move? So to me, Pinnock has to be, like, he should be right here, right now. Because, again, like, throw it to Lenore, right? If you want to, I don't understand this. Okay, let's go back here. Like, Pinnock is in no man's land. And it's just, I mean, good luck for any corner stopping that. But it is very important for you to make the tackle on a double move. So you make a tackle, live to fight another down, defense gets a stop, and you have 4 downs pretty much now once they're inside the 10, which is going to be very difficult to do. Okay, so on the very next play, D. Winters almost calls ball game. This is why, again, I have no idea why he didn't play last year, because he was doing these things in training camp. He was doing these things against the Rams. Yes, he was banged up. Yes, he was constantly on the injury report, so maybe they couldn't trust him. But he couldn't be in a better position right here. He's not even looking at the running back. He's just reading the quarterback. And as soon as he goes to throw, look at that break. If that is an accurate throw, that's pick 6, and he knows it. So last year, teams really got over on the 49ers more than ever when they were throwing the ball over the middle. I know that's not technically over the middle, but you understand what I mean. Like, underneath to the running backs and the tight ends. Like, that's just not a thing now. I think when it comes to Winters and when it comes to Bosa. So let's watch how these play out. They're going to run the ball. Good luck, man. I got leaving Bosa unblocked, thinking he's not going to come or trace that. I don't understand that call. Like, that had no chance, right? That was never going to work. Oh, baby, Michael. Rookie. Oh, he just stands straight up. That's bad pad level. It's buried, but doesn't matter because they did not block the 49ers' best player. Okay, 2nd and 5. And now we have Huff. Okay, I like that. So this is the first time he's rushing inside, and I think this tells you how much they trust him. So Yeater out, Sammo in. Maybe Yeater was just tired. Who knows? But yeah, Michael, Huff, Bosa. And there is the ball. Goodness. I wonder who he's throwing to. It was maybe this guy? Probably. We will never know because, again, former Defensive Player of the Year saves the day. Darnold's internal clock, man, just not where it needs to be. I don't know how you don't sense this, how you don't feel this, but Bosa's bull rush he was a monster all day. I think he had like 4 or 5 of these where he just basically forklifted the right tackle, Lucas. Gets his hands on. When his hands are at his hips right now. What? Why? So as soon as that happens, it's good night. It's RIP. Kiss the baby. Ball game over. So if Bosa gets his hands on you first, I mean, even if he doesn't, he's probably going to win. But if he does, no shot. That's not very nice. He makes first contact. He's one of the stronger players that you're going to see. And that's pretty brutal, man. Yeah, Darnold really has no chance. That's not his fault. How long is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yikes. And he recovers it. Good night. Okay, that's all. A lot of good stuff for the 49ers in this one, man. It would be tough. I don't want to say it would be tough for them to play better because they did make some mistakes. I mean, there was one big play, 2 big plays that were really just busts. But aside from that, you had to like what you saw as far as like the different coverage silos that they ran. They gave up next to nothing. Seattle could not run the ball. Seattle averaged, I believe, 3.2 yards per carry. Like EPA just measures the big play, the effectiveness, and it was negatives across the board. Really appreciate how Salah kind of scrapped the cover 4 early on. They really lived in single high, and Seattle couldn't separate. I know that there were instances where they got over on Stout, but for the most part, like he was good. They had negative EPA whenever the 49ers ran cover 3 or cover 1, and actually the 49ers had one of the best games of any team when they were in man-to-man coverage. So I think that's a good sign moving forward. Again, Stout's going to be better. Siegel looks like he belongs, which is nice. And, I mean, the linebackers were outstanding. So Seattle is going to be a good team, a relatively decent team, I assume. So for the 49ers to show this well, they had a 33% pressure rate, leaps and bounds better than what they were last year. They had the 12th highest sack rate in this game. Salah was aggressive on early downs. There was, again, a lot to like, and he changed up a lot of his coverages, his looks. Nick Bosa, as I mentioned, not just lined up over right tackles. Fred Warner actually blitzed. D. Warner's blitzed 7 or 8 times, which was basically double the amount the times the weak side linebacker blitzed at any point in a game last year. So, yeah, Salah's a real deal, and he has these guys playing fast and physical, and they're aggressive. And I think the speed makes a difference too. And that's why you're going to rely on Stout. That's why you're going to rely on Siegel, because when you can run cover 1. You can run all these different man-to-man blitzes. So even seeing like Michael Gross-Matos dropping coverage as just a change-up, man, it was fun. It was fun to watch. And this has the chance to be a dominant unit. I don't want to crown them yet because it's week 1. You don't make any, these grand, you don't want to make sweeping judgments on the very first game. But it was very, very promising. And you would think players like Michael, Alfred Collins, Stout, Siegel are only going to get better the more that they play, the more that they understand what they can and can't get away with. And having players like Bosa, having players like Warner, having the literal best players on this side of the ball at their position with a play caller like Salah is really, really going to make this team dangerous as the season goes along. So provided they stay healthy, I think they're only going to get better. So I appreciate everybody watching. This was, it's a lot easier to watch this side of the ball when there are just so few mistakes and so clean of a game, especially the way Salah called it. So again, first time watching this, please like, subscribe. Let me know what you want to watch next, but I might just pack it in for week 2 and see how these guys look against Spencer Rattler. So thanks again, everybody, for watching.